everyone, it's Adriana from Adriana's Paper Crafts. I figured that now is about as good a time as any to explain where I've been. Yeah. So I'm making this video because it's already become apparent to quite a number of people that I just kind of dropped off the map, I guess you could say, for a few months now. And, some people have even, kind of asked, like, what's going on. And I just haven't known how, I don't know, like, I haven't known what to say. And so, starting about December, it started mostly to show in January, though. I just dropped off as far as, like, responding to emails, responding to DMs. My orders were taking longer and longer to ship out. I started canceling orders and just sending out refunds. I stopped posting so much online. Definitely wasn't making really any videos. And just the quality of what I was putting out started to go down. And just the biggest thing is really just not responding to people. I have been very, very, very heavily depressed for about 4 months now. I don't want to use that as an excuse because lots of people have functioning depression. I know many. I was raised by one. I actually have bipolar type 2 disorder, and so with that comes depression. And so I'm actually used to it. The thing is, though, is that my depressive periods, whenever I have a flare-up for my bipolar 2, my depressive period usually only lasts maybe 2 to 3 weeks at the most. And so during those periods when I feel them coming on, because I can have anywhere from 2 to 4 of those flare-ups a year, whenever I feel that coming on, I would always, make sure to not take on as many orders and, just kind of work around it, really schedule my posts and stuff so that I'm not having to really work against that little depressive period. But as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, I've been heavily depressed for at least 4 months now. That I'm not used to. Again, I'm used to maybe 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 2 to 4 times a year. This has been so different, and I didn't do anything about it at first because I just assumed that it would get better, because that's usually what would happen. It was just like a phase. It comes with being, having bipolar disorder. But it wasn't getting any better. In fact, it got a lot worse, and I felt very disconnected from everything, including my business, which my business is my second baby. Okay, my son is my first. My business is my second. I put my life into this. Some of you know the old timers know that I started this business after becoming a single mom. I got out of a really terrible relationship, and I had no means. I had nothing. I mean, I was scrimping for this and that just to be able to afford diapers for my kid, and to get extra formula that WIC couldn't provide, and so anyways, everything went into this business of mine. And I put my all into it because I don't know, it gave me something to focus on, and for the first time I realized that I had such a passion for anything creative, but also for helping other people learn how to do this stuff. I love it so much. So, and anyone who's really into crafting or creating beautiful artwork, you guys know how it lifts your spirits, how it just hits you in your soul, and it makes you feel like there's sunshine just streaming out of you. But I haven't been able to feel that for months now. It's and it's not just with my business, it's with everything. It's I can see it. I feel like I'm in a glass box because I can see that these beautiful things are right there, but I can't touch them. I'm not getting anything from it. There's nothing to connect me to it. I mean, even my son, like, I love him. I mean, I don't need to express how much, because if you're a parent, you know. And yet, there's just nothing, like, as far as, it's not lifting anything. I can't feel anything. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And I was sleeping, about an average of like 16 hours a day. I would sleep at night, take my son to school, and before, usually the routine is I come back home, and it's about, at that point it's before 8 o'clock in the morning, and I sit down and I start my work day, and I start working until it's time to pick up my son. And then sometimes after picking him up, I come back and I keep working because I just love it so much. But the routine turned into, I would come home after taking him to school, and I could not keep my eyes open. I just couldn't, so I would go back to sleep. And the few times that I would try to force myself to sit down at my laptop and start working, it's like I would open a new tab, on the internet, and by the time the new tab opened, I couldn't even remember like what I was going to do. I would be working, and I would end up just sitting here and just like staring at the wall. And the next thing you know, it's like minutes, beyond minutes have passed. And I like my concentration, I just, it's been impossible to concentrate. And then beyond that, in December/January, I also, some things were triggered in my personal life where I realized that I have PTSD. So when I was 20 years old, I was actually diagnosed with PTSD because I have childhood trauma. But I'm 31 now, and I've healed from most of my childhood trauma. I truly have. I can discuss it. It's not an issue. But that toxic relationship that I was in all those years ago, something happened within the past few months that triggered some things that made me realize I have post-traumatic stress from that. Now, I knew that that person had messed up my mind. I knew that I was damaged. I knew that already, but I never went so far as to say like, oh, I have post-traumatic stress from that. But like I said, some things were triggered, really minute things, but that's exactly what made me realize this is post-traumatic stress, because I can love myself, I can do therapy, and I can do all this stuff, but post-traumatic stress is completely different. It is like, there are wires that are, misconnected in my brain that are making me feel completely unsafe. And I was having panic attacks, which I haven't had in years because I've been working on myself for a very long time. And I was having panic attacks again, constant anxiety. It just, these are things that like I have already gotten myself used to, except this time around it was so different because it was so much more intense than I have felt since I was 20 years old. These are just feelings that I have not had to endure in such a long time. And being this person that I am today, I'm no longer the girl I was 10 years ago, right? When I was 20. So now, like with everything that I have, I didn't know how to be. Like, I don't know how else to say it. I didn't know how to handle the depression and the anxiety and just all the miserableness that I was feeling inside. Along with this time, I have a business now. I owe a lot of my time to people. I have responsibilities. Now I have a home. I have bills. I have a son who, he's not a baby anymore, so he kind of requires like more, I have family, and I have, I volunteer, and I'm part of like different groups, and like I have a life that I didn't used to have all those years ago. And this time around, when all of this stuff hit me all at once, I did not know how to do any of it anymore. And so I just stopped. I just stopped being a business owner, I guess. I stopped being whoever it is that I'm supposed to be every day. And the only reason that I can discuss it now is because I recently decided, like, I gathered the strength to go and get help because it was not getting better the way that I assumed it would get better. And so I am on multiple medications now. I've only been on them for a short while, but I can already feel the difference for about for about 4 days now, which I know is not a huge deal, but for me it's huge. For about 4 days now, I've been able to stay awake after taking my son to school. That is huge because I was sleeping so much. I'm telling you, I could maybe stay awake for about 45 minutes and then I would start to yawn like crazy. And then I just couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. If I tried to push it, I would, like I said, I would just kind of disassociate, meaning I would zone out and I just could not focus. My memory, like, there were times where I would be speaking and then I would just stop because immediately, like, I couldn't remember what I was talking about anymore. I've been living on the same street for like 5 or 6 years now. I had so many moments where I couldn't even remember the street, like the name of the street that I live on. I mean, it was just I'm someone who usually talks very quickly. I move very quickly, and I was all of a sudden speaking very slowly all the time. I had just very lethargic. And so I just stopped. I stopped taking care of myself, my home, my business. Even things with my son weren't going great. And like, that's the only thing that actually would get me out of bed is just knowing I might not be able to do it for myself, but I have to do it for him. There's no choice. He doesn't have, anyone else. Like, I can't send him away. But that's actually the thought process that forced me to go and finally seek help, because I started thinking I'm going to have to send him away because I can't keep, like, I'm getting worse and worse, and I can't, like, I don't want him to grow up and remember that how messed up his mom was, like, that was such a significant portion of his life and that I messed him up. And so I started to think, like, I'm going to have to send him away, and I know that he hates being apart from me. And then so it was just, anyways, and so again, I've only been on medication for a short while, but I'm already feeling a difference. I'm not saying that, like, oh, things are ponies and rainbows and butterflies, but I don't feel as low as I was before. And so I've slowly, very, very slowly but steadily have been chipping away at just, like, how depressed my home has gotten. I'm slowly starting to, knock out more orders. I've been making sure to, like, go through my email lately and answer whatever I can. I've been opening up to my loved ones because I'm someone who's just very rarely vulnerable, that they're not used to me opening up to them, but they've been very patient with me and very understanding. And so I've been opening up. I'm part of different recovery groups to help deal with trauma and things like that. And so I'm on, meetings or group calls or whatever every single day. And that has been helping me so much because it's been able to kind of help me zone out a little bit from all these tiny little details that have been triggering me, to see the larger picture and to just process a lot of things that I have been carrying my whole life that I haven't been processing. And they've just been, over the past few months, they had just built up to the point that it kind of exploded through. So this is going to be a very long-term journey for me. Hell, it's going to be a lifelong journey for me. So, yeah, if you stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. By which I mean stuck around through this video, but also through all the years of my business. There are some of you who have been there from the very beginning. There are some of you who have been around for just a couple years, but you come to me for everything. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. You have no idea. I love my return customers. It's amazing. You guys are, like, you help this single mom provide for her child. Everything I have, I am so incredibly grateful for, because I, like, 20-year-old me just never thought that I could have any of this. I genuinely believe, like, I wouldn't make it past 21. So I don't want something as ridiculous as this stupid depression to kick me back to where I was. I genuinely hope that anyone I've let down, whether by just, for honestly, for any of the reasons that I've already listed a million times, that I get another opportunity to work with you. If you've been wondering where I am as far as, like, you want more videos from me, you want more from my Patreon, I swear I'm working on it. I really am. And I hope you can just continue to stick with me, because your support is what makes this whole thing go round. So with that, I think I will go ahead and just kind of, leave that here for you to digest. And yeah, I'm going to continue on with videos, because that's where I've been getting a lot of, over the past few years, where I've been getting a lot of my passion from. It's been just so exciting. And so I want to keep definitely doing videos. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my new Epson printer. So, what I think on that. But yeah, so I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen to me, for letting me share, giving me a moment to be vulnerable. And I do plan to see you all on social media, Patreon, emails, coming back, all right? Thanks.